A strange man lives in the deepest cell of the prison. He climbs the walls day after day, not to escape, but to forge his body. While others enjoy yard time, he lifts weights. While others rest, he trains his fists. Even during labor, he forces the heaviest load onto his own shoulders. Whenever storms hit, he runs through the mud to build endurance. The reason he craves strength this badly has nothing to do with hope and nothing to do with freedom. It is born from a hatred that cuts to the bone. Before prison, he was just an ordinary steelworker with a beautiful wife at home. But that fragile happiness was destroyed in a moment by a home intruder who acted on pure evil. Kyle heard everything on the phone. His wife screaming in despair, begging for help. He drove home like a madman, but found her lying in a pool of blood, lifeless. Her clothes were torn, her body covered in wounds. She had been assaulted and murdered. Later, Kyle caught that monster with his own hands and fought through hell to bring him to court. He believed there would at least be justice, but he never expected the man to be from an insanely powerful, wealthy family. In the end, the killer walked free. Seeing that smug and mocking smile on the killer's face, Kyle's faith in law and order shattered completely. The moment the killer stepped out of court, Kyle snatched a gun from a guard and fired at his enemy in a frenzy. Gunshots exploded through the silent courtroom. But just as his revenge was done, a darker nightmare began. Kyle was sentenced to life in prison and thrown into Crave Prison, a place every inmate fears. Everything he owned was taken away, even the wedding ring on his finger. Kyle refused to give it up, but his resistance only earned him a brutal beating. Then he was thrown into solitary confinement. Filthy waste flowed under his feet. The stench was unbearable. The walls were stained with blood, left behind by prisoners who fought to their death. The food was like sticky webs of paste, and the only bed was a freezing stone slab. After days of inhuman torture, Kyle's mind finally broke. He tore his prison clothes into strips and twisted them into a rope, ready to end everything. But the cheap fabric wouldn't even let him die. In total despair, he slammed his head against the wall. Right before he lost consciousness, a moth suddenly appeared. It circled in front of his eyes, then landed gently on the rotten food. Kyle picked up the bowl almost without thinking. The moth flew again and landed on the spoon, as if guiding him. Maybe his dead wife couldn't bear to see him fall, and came back as this tiny creature to remind him. So Kyle stopped hesitating and forced the tasteless food down one bite at a time. But he soon discovered this prison runs on a brutal fight system where human lives are the wager. Kyle was quickly dragged onto the stage under the indifferent watch of the guards. He was publicly beaten. It was clear they wouldn't let him die. They would make him live in worse pain than death. From that day on, he trained like a madman, using everything he could to harden his body and his will. After months of inhuman grinding, he stepped onto the fighting ring once again.